In this daily drop, we're going to talk about a small light fixture that is now in standard rotation in my kit. So let's go. Okay, it's a new week and a new episode, and we are going to continue to talk about lighting. And just before we get started, a little housekeeping. I teach a lot of workshops, a lot of in-person live workshops where people are doing hands-on lighting and camera stuff and blah, 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 blah. I teach at NAB and I do that kind of stuff. So before my 2-day workshops at NAB this past April, I reached out to Aputure. I've known that company and those people for a long time, and I asked them to send me this little light fixture, which is called the MT Pro. So it's a 1-foot LED tube light, RGB-WW, and I had that in the workshop, and I have been using it for other things. No money exchanged hands. This is not a sponsored video, and it is not a review of the light, because that's not really what the daily drop is about. But I do want to talk about it just a little bit and how I'm using it currently. And it is a light that I do travel with, and I think along with that Moelis X100 that we've been talking about, if you've been watching the daily drop, is pretty much a standard piece of kit. And one of the other things that I love about it is that it comes with this, which is a little grid. I'm using this pretty much all of the time to handle spill and make that light more directional. It's a 45-degree grid here that you can see. Check it out. And you just, it couldn't be easier. You just slide it on to both ends of the MT Pro, and it just sits there just over where normally the magnets are, and that's it. And I also really like the fact that it has a cutout here. I'm using this little ULANZI clamp. It's 1/4-20 to clamp with the Velcro I talked about in last week's episode. And that's it. This is the setup. And being RGB-WW, you can dial in gels and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to go ahead and take that over there. While I'm doing it, I'll keep talking, and I'll shoot some BTS footage so you can see what it looks like set up. I'll be right back. All right. So what I like about this is I can just clamp this directly to a C-stand or a table or anywhere else, and you can see here that it's hooked up. The other thing that's really nice about it is it's USB-C powered. So it charges the internal battery with USB-C, but it also can charge and be used at the same time off of USB-C. So if you're in a studio environment, you definitely want to do that. All right, so I'll come back into the frame, and you can see that light kicking right now. And what's great is that along with just manually controlling the light and using USB-C to power it when needed, though it does have an internal battery, which depending on the intensity and how you're using the light, usually going to give you somewhere between about an hour to 2+ hours, even more than that if you're at very, very low intensities. But the SitusLink app, which is a very deep app, I mean, we're just looking at correlated color temperature settings right there. And this is currently at about 40% for the kicker. You can see it here at 100%. And of course, I can change color temperatures very easily with this, and you can see that. This light in just correlated color temperature goes from 1500 all the way up to 20,000 Kelvin because it's RGB-WW. Let's just go ahead and have that sit somewhere in that daylight range. And then you get into things like color and being able to change those colors very easily. Gels, there's tons of gels inside of here that you can dial in, and you can base those gels on whether or not your light fixture is tungsten or daylight based, and that's great when you're doing things like color temperature blue, color temperature orange. Let's just go back to kind of a somewhat normal color, and also a somewhat normal intensity here in terms of what I'm doing. And this is kind of getting back to about what I would use. And of course, that grid is keeping the light from spilling on the backdrop. So there you have it. Aputure MT Pro, 1-foot LED tube light. It's got that grid, easy to mount anywhere. It's got built-in magnets. It's in the standard rotation of the kit. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.